Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's RigER webinar. Today, we will talk about oilfield inventory management, its challenges and solutions. Strategic inventory management is essential to any successful oilfield service business. An inventory management system helps organizations account for all incoming and outgoing stock to better meet customer demand and avoid the expense of overstocking or loss of business caused by insufficient stocks. The system impacts every essential business function, including accounting, production, warehouse management, procurement, sales, and customer service. And to give you a clear idea of what to expect if you choose a cloud-based software option, today we'll show you some examples of how we implement RigER for oilfield inventory management. Our presenter today is Michael Martsov, who is the Chief Product Officer here in RigER. He will talk about challenges of oilfield inventory management, the inventory life cycle, show RigER features for inventory management, and share oilfield inventory management use cases. At the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask any questions you may have. So just type your question to the Q&A section using the panel and we'll answer them at the end. For those who don't know us well, I'll tell a few words about our company and our product. Our company originally was founded almost 10 years ago in Calgary, Alberta, and right now we have offices in Canada, United States, and Europe. Our main mission is to help companies in oil and gas to digitize their operations through mobile fuel tickets, asset management, integration with different other software, and creating custom solutions for them. RigER as a system is an oilfield operations management software designed specifically for oil field service and rental to manage complex operations throughout the entire company. It helps streamline processes and improve data visibility across all departments: purchases, sales, finance, manufacturing, equipment rentals, and oilfield services. Users of RigER have their business processes and document flow implemented in an easy-to-use mobile-to-office-enabled digital system that allows them to manage work at all stages of value generation: quote and rental agreement, job scheduling, rental fleet management, oilfield calendar monitoring, field tickets, delivery tickets, asset tracking, management reports, analytics, and more. RigER can tie every aspect of your organization's data into one comprehensive dashboard. It consists of different modules that can be turned on or off depending on your process and needs. Every module enables a specific set of features for a particular person in the company. As you can see here, it has more than 200 features and 20 plus modules, as well as dashboards, reports, integrations, and mobile applications. And on the next slide, you can see a few of our clients. We are very grateful to all our clients as they always help us improve, and we welcome new companies to our RigER community. And now I would like to pass microphone to Michael, and he will tell us more about oilfield inventory management. Hello, Michael.
Thank you, Dasha. Today we will talk about oilfield inventory management, and the first topic is what's the challenges of the oilfield inventory management. So we can identify 7 of them, and the first is the poor lack of inventory visibility. When your inventory is hard to identify or locate in the shop, it leads to incomplete or inaccurate or delayed in shipments. Low control of purchasing. So the company is required establish the purchasing processes, including budget controls, PO approvals, inventory tracking, to manage the inventory in the right way. The inconsistent tracking, because using manual inventory tracking process across different software and spreadsheets, it's a time-consuming, redundant, and cause to errors. Even small businesses can benefit from centralized inventory tracking system that include accounting features which RigER can provide. The inaccurate data is another challenge. So you need to know at any given moment exactly what inventory you have. Movements of the inventory happening every single hour, every single minute. And in this case, you need to have a clear visibility and understand what's happening every single minute. The inventory loss, it's a common thing for oil field. And I remember that one of the comment from one of our client, he mentioned that we are leaking, but I do not know where. So it's a common problem, and definitely good control will prevent the inventory loss or reduce it. Insufficient inventory management process. So the managing a huge inventory with manual paper-based procedures will be not good for any business growth. Inefficient inventory management leads to the overstocking and understocking. And overstocking, especially when the demand failed, can lead to loss from the shortage, damage, or becoming dead stock. The understocking can cause significant damage for brand reputation and future revenues. So there are lots of different issues and there are lots of different problems. So, and we'd like to help our clients to resolve them or minimize the impact. So let's consider the oilfield inventory life cycle. It's very straightforward. So we are purchasing all the inventory from the vendor, move it back and forth from shop and warehouse, convert them using a bill of materials, and then consume them in different ways. So it could be sales, it could be assembly of the rental units, it could be services, providing there's field tickets, rental operations, maintenance, repairs, other internal jobs, or even disposal if some of the items are not useful. More advanced inventory tracking. Some of the organizations run this method when you split the inventory on two pieces, the shop inventory and truck inventory, and run tracking by trucks and have intercompany transfers, see all the trucks inventory, and use the inventory from trucks directly in the field documents. So let's check what we have as the inventory management in RigER, and we have a lot. So first of all, the inventory master data. So when we talk about inventory, we talk about goods, materials, consumables, suppliers, parts, and other, etc. So it's a big chunk of different items which we need to track and sometimes track in a different way. So the inventory card, when we open it, we have two types, goods and materials, and you can choose the difference between goods and materials, more accounting definition, and main idea here is the BIM. So if your items can be utilized by BIM, it will be material. If it will be a final product, then we will consider this as a good. We enter different properties of inventory, kind of model, category, date, and other stuff, even color. Another big thing which we have in RigER, we can store the vendor part number. First of all, we can assign the preferred vendor, the default vendor, and track all the part numbers against particular vendor, and sometimes even have a different description. If the description differs from what we use in our database, we can have this description, and this information will be used for purchases when we generate POs. This information will be presented in those POs for particular vendor accordingly. The inventory dashboards showing different information about inventory, what we have in the stock, where we have, and order history. So if we have POs already and we are expecting some inventory, we can see when it will happen. So talking about the first thing how the inventory appear in the system. It will be purchases. And we have several workflow for purchases. One is a standard purchase workflow consisting from the purchase order, purchase invoice, and bill of lading. And you can track them step by step. And purchase order will be a master document for the purchase invoice and bill of lading. We have a purchase order approval process, assigning a particular person to approve all the purchases in the organizations or several persons, and even several escalation approval process hierarchy when you can set up a particular path how the purchase request will be approved by purchase order. The fast purchase workflow give you an ability to skip this PO approval, and we usually use this to register purchases which has already happened and not required the formal approval process. And let me show you one of the example how that happened in database.
To access the Fast Purchase tool, you need to go to the Purchases module and locate the Fast Purchase document. Click on that and create a new document. When you create a new document, you need to select the date of the document, the purchase invoice from your vendor, and the vendor itself. We also may select the tax schedule, and we select the department where these equipment or consumables or supplies will be delivered to, and select the delivery date. Now enter the items in the list. So I can select the hand sanitizer in a quantity of 10 items. And I put the price of these hand sanitizers. Also, we can enter another item. Say it will be a diesel, and we purchase 100 gallons, and the price is $2 per gallon. So we are done here. Once all the equipment or consumables is entered, we post the fast purchase document, and we click on Generate button, which performs and generates 3 documents in a sequence: purchase order, purchase invoice, and bill of lading. So your equipment or consumables are purchased and delivered to the inventory in the database. You can also check all these 3 documents by clicking on them and check or change any kind of details on that document, post and save it. And you can do this with other 2 documents.
Another feature which we have is the safety stock, when you can identify the minimal quantity to notify the manager, the purchase manager, when we need to reorder or pay attention on a particular inventory line in the stock. The next document which I'd like to show you today is initial balances. This is the way how we enter the inventory initially in RigER, and we use the Excel spreadsheet when we enter the inventory quantity and prices. And just clicking one button, we adding those inventories to the database. Another document which heavily used in RigER, it's a transfer between different shops, yards, warehouses, and even trucks. It's called intercompany transfer. And an intercompany transfer can move items from one location to another location through our own trucks or using the carrier. This transaction could be simplified when we have this movement simultaneously, or it could be with the transit location when we have delivery date and shipment date and receiving date. So those options are available for the intercompany transfer as well. And definitely all the inventory movements will show you the inventory movements, inventory turnover report and it will provide the full information about initial balances and every single movement after each transaction. Another step is the manufacturing. So manufacturing, the process when we combine several parts together, we call them materials, several materials together. Sometimes we add services, and as a result, we have a final product and item type goods can use for that. So bill of materials, we can put together different items, different parts, and build the final product using this document. For a more advanced structure, we have a bill of materials templates when we have bill of materials creating based on the specification of a particular final goods, final product. Another big thing which we need to stress here, the understanding the product value or cost of parts and how the cost of parts calculated. So, and we use weighted average method, and this cost calculated every single time when we move items from one location to another location or consume them. So here we have an example when we have the purchase quantity as a line one and day one, and we have price $25, and then we have as day three. We sell one for average cost 25. So, and the balance is 9 multiplied 25 to 25 as the balance. At the end of the day, 3. Say, for example, day 5, we receive 60 by 23. And in this case, when we create the BIM, it will calculate the average price, which will be 23.26. And this is how it works on and on and on and on. So the price calculated automatically for every single transaction. Another operations which is very time consuming in any inventory operations is the counting results. And we build a specific document for the cycle counting. The cycle counts give you different options how to enter that, and cycle counting scenarios could be when we have actual quantity equals book quantity, actual quantity less than book quantity. In this case, we have deficit value, and we need to identify the reason, or actual quantity more than book value. So we have a surplus quantity. We need to identify the surplus value. And again, understand the reason why that happened. This run by specific documents, which we create the parts count documents, and there are two different sub-documents which can be generated: the item disposal for deficit or initial balances, which we already discussed for surplus. And the inventory cycle counting scenarios run in the following procedure. So we run inventory on hand report, create this report and export this report to Excel. In Excel, we enter inventory counting quantities and create part counting results, and import this Excel spreadsheet to parts counting result document. This document analyze the book quantity and actual quantity, compare line by line, calculate results, and the user can add comment to the results, and the manager can approve the results of the inventory counting. And after that, we generate the initial balances and item disposal documents to adjust the balances in each particular shop, warehouse, yard, every single location. So let me show you a real example how that happened and what we do and how we run with those reports. So first of all, we need to open reports in RigER, and you see the different reports and inventory on hand. This is what we're looking for. We're creating a particular date and location selection and generate the report. So as soon as we create the entire list of all our inventory, we save this as a Excel spreadsheet and send to the shop manager for the inventory counting. As soon as we receive the results, the actual results, we open a document called part counting results, create new document, and enter the right date, time, which is important, and select the department. So, in this case, we import actual numbers. Definitely, we see some discrepancy, and it shows us that we need to analyze the results. So, as soon as we calculate and analyze results, we see the surplus and surplus value, and we see the deficit. And we need to understand the reason and explain what was reason why we have this deficit in this particular situation. And you see the status of this document is open. As soon as we okay with that, we can approve this transaction by manager and generate initial balances and item disposal documents, which will correct the balances of the inventory at the particular location. As you see, it's a very simple process, and you can understand how it works. So the amount of value of the surplus, use the last purchase price or last information about any information about the price of this item. So worst case scenario, it will be 0, and the user need to enter this value manually. Next step is the sales of the unit. So when we sell the inventory, sell inventory to our clients in a different way. It could be direct sale, it could be sales through the service providing or rental operations. So in any ways, we need to identify the sales price, and in this case, we will have the price module where we can have a price list or price agreement and set up the particular price for particular type of items and understand what will be the sales price. And when we run the sales, direct sales, we have a sales order and sales invoice and sales shipment document, which combine together and provide us give us an ability to sell the item. Another venue we can sell through our service, oilfield service and oilfield rentals jobs, and we have a separate tab in RSA in the rental ticket and field ticket, in which is service and parts. And a field ticket, it will be materials tab. So the field technician can enter all the consumables or all the parts they use for a particular service, a particular job. And at the end of the day, using pricing, we can run the service or rental invoice, including those parts, and invoice those items to the client. And the final step is the assembly, disposal, inspection, maintenance, and repairs. So consumption of the parts. But this process run pretty much in the same way how we did with the rental ticket and sales ticket. So you just select what kind of item you'd like to use, with the quantity, and the system will automatically calculate the value of those items. We have lots of different reports, especially focusing on the inventory, and I will show you several of them. The inventory report will show you the different status of quantity utilized for a particular item. The inventory gross margin report showing you the sales quantity, average price, revenue, cost of goods sold, and gross profit margin for each line. Inventory on hand provide you information about quantity and book value at any given moment at any given location. Inventory purchases give you full information about purchase orders, purchase invoice, bill of lading, quantity, amounts which was entered for that particular period of time. Inventory turnover report give you step-by-step to fully detailed process about the inventory movements from one location to another location, from consumption of inventory, purchases of inventory, so the entire history of inventory movements. So let's talk about best practices and talk about what we recommend to use when we are talking about the inventory. So standardization and unification of inventory is a very big question and very, very big thing to identify what will be the name, model, part number for all your inventory. It's so classification and understanding of what will be the structure of your inventory master file. Convenient organized market inventory storage. It's definitely a big thing because when you have lots of different items, you need to understand where to find it, and bins, shelves, and other information will be very helpful for all the users to find the right inventory, right part in the shop, in the warehouse, etc. Smartphone and tablets for inventory counting. This is a very advanced method, and definitely you can use smartphones to identify the inventory, smartphones to even or tablets to run the inventory counting. Some of our clients, we know they took pictures of the particular units to identify them properly. And the next step will be a barcoding for the inventory, and you can use your devices for barcode readings and enter documents through the barcodes. RFIDs is another application for that. Pictures is very helpful, especially for the new users, for new technicians who are not familiar with all the parts, and it will give them visual understanding that they can understand what they holding in hand. And another interesting point which we realized, it's just a color coding, understanding and use a color to identify, for example, parts for assembling and assembled parts, so the kits and the components. Track all the movements. This is a very, very big thing, because if you miss one or two or three transactions, it could ruin the entire integrity of the data, and it will be really tough to restore the particular situation and information in the inventory and database. And absolutely right, the dedicated team for cycle counting. It's the process which nobody's like, but someone needs to do it. And definitely when we talk about the implementation of the inventory management software, we talk about maximizing the accuracy, speed, and visibility. And this is what we need to focus. Speed is very important. and definitely when we talk to the client how to organize the inventory, how to organize the cycle counting process, we trying to find the right method and solutions to optimize speed and accuracy of this. And one of the thing which can be used in some of the organizations. So we can run parts as materials or goods, or we can run parts as a service. Because in sometimes when you purchase something from vendors, you do not need to track them as an inventory. You can track them as a service and just add this value to the final invoice. So in the invoice, it will be shown as the line. But for us, it will be not required to track all the quantities. So really depends. So from time to time, we see that the clients prefer to use parts as a services. Another best practices is to set up a minimum stock, understanding reordering time, which is important right now with all the logistics issues nowadays, the delivery time and average consumption. So definitely for the it's a big task for the inventory manager. Another thing which we usually do, we set up regular email reporting, for example, every week, and it's just to generate the report with reordering actions required. And in this case, we understand what needs to be done and what needs to be ordered every single week. That's it for today. I hope it was useful, and I tried to cover all major aspects of the inventory management. And of course, there are so many different small details which we can discuss individually with every single client. And if you have any questions, please ask, and we will answer them right now.
Yes, let me check if you have any questions. Yes, so we actually have a couple of questions. The first question is, how do you track inventory in trucks?
Okay, so yeah, the inventory in trucks running as trucks actually set up as a separate warehouse or shop, and we track them in the same method which we track them in the shop. The only difference is that we can consume parts just right from trucks and in a field, so which will give us an ability to understand what is the balance for each truck every single moment. However, this procedure and this setup required lots of discipline from the end users, because movements between shop and truck and shop, time to time we can control, but movements between trucks become a very big issue. So it will require some discipline from the field technicians, and really depends on the organization culture and how all those things running within the organization.
Thank you. Another question is, can we set up kits in RigER?
Oh yeah, yes, for sure. There are several combinations of the unit which we have in RigER, and kits is one of them. Moreover, you can create kits via BOM. Bill of materials can combine different parts and combine them to the one kit, and after that you can track them as one single item, which is more convenient, especially if you have kits from 20 different parts.
Okay, good, thank you. One more question: how we can set up parts prices in RigER?
So yeah, it's actually a good question. The originally parts pricing run by the price list. However, we find out that in many situations the price varies from and depends on the volume, depends on the vendor, etc. So in this situation, we can set up as a markup for a particular items or particular group of items. So, for example, we can set up a markup price as a percentage. Say, for example, 20% for all the filters. So that option is available, and yeah, if you'd like to run it, just give us a call, and we will enable that.
Great. Next question. Can we track inventory using mobile devices?
Yes. So the inventory of parts and consumables is a part of all the tickets and maintenance cards, repair cards. And we have a separate section, separate tab for each of the documents where you can check and track all the consumption of the inventory.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. I don't see any questions as for now, at least.
Okay, good. So thank you so much. Was a pleasure to talk. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us anytime using the phone or email or any other channels. Please visit our website to have more information about RigER, about what we're doing. And again, if you need any help, give us a call. And yeah. Thank you so much for being with us.